Good morning, everyone. Today we are going to look into state under Article 12. So let's understand what state is. So, in the ancient times, the king used to recognize various rights and liberties and used to respect it. Gradually, human thinking evolved and observed that there are some basic rights and the freedom that cannot be compromised, and the state has to protect it. And from this arrive the fundamental rights. So, from this, the question arises what is state? To who all can we file against an action and all? So let's look into section Article 12 of the Indian Constitution. So it defines states and it gives us four categories. The first two are the government and the Parliament of India and the government and legislature of state. That is kind of like obvious. We know that that is the state, even if Article 12 didn't exist. But then now the ambiguous part of the this article comes in the last 2 points. That is the local authorities and other authorities. Now, local authorities have been defined in Section 330, subclause 31 of General Clauses Act, and it says all local self-governing bodies are local authorities. But then the dynamic state of the dynamic state it was kept in mind while interpreting this article, and this was why we have other authorities. Now, if I were to ask whether the university you studied in can be a state or the can electricity board be the state, these answers are given in various judgments. Now, the first judgment is University of Madras versus Shantabai. In this, it was held that university cannot be a state because if anything has to be a state under other authorities in Article 12, then they should be of agestum generis, meaning same kind. So the fourth one, the other authorities, whatever comes under other authorities should be the same of the other three that we had in the beginning, meaning they should have a sovereign function as an inherent quality, or else it wouldn't be meant to be a state. So it was held that university is not a state. But then this rule was cancelled in the case Ujjambai versus State of UP. And it was said that ethnism generis was a very restrictive approach and it was not accepted. Now from this another question arises whether the electricity board could be a state. And this was answered in Rajasthan Electricity Board versus Mohanlal. And it was said that all the bodies that are created by a law or constitution has a lot of power that can be used to influence the fundamental rights of the citizens of India. Because of this, if they have because of this power, these bodies should be state under Article 12. And it was said that governmental function or sovereign function was not an inherent quality. Now, when Sukhdev Singh versus Bhagat Ram, it was held that ONGC, LIC, FIC, these are all statutory bodies, but then they were all made for commercial purposes. Even if they are for solely for commercial purposes, these bodies will also be a state under Article 12. Now, coming to R.D. Shetty versus International Airport Authority, it was held that was International Airport Authority a state, and it was seen that the central government had a lot of powers on airport authority, and central government had the power to appoint chairman and the other members, and mostly the capital came from the central government. From this, we got a uh, test, that is the instrument or agency test. So if a body has to be in the instrument or agency test, then if the degree of the control and the extraordinary financial assistance is there, then it is said to be the instrument or agency of the state. Now coming to Som Prakash versus Union of India, the Supreme Court said that Bharat Petroleum, that is incorporated, is also a state under Article 12, but then it gave us five criteria to determine whether a body is a state or not. One is financial resources, second one is functional capital, third is plenary control, fourth is prior history of the same activity being carried out by the government, and fifth is this some element of authority or command. If any one of these is there, then it is said to be the instrument or agency of the state. Parliament came to Ajay Hasya versus Khalid Muizzi. The Supreme Court said that just because it has a functional or sovereign function, it doesn't mean that it needs to be a state. That is not the way you need to determine. For this, uh, uh, for this case, Ajay Hasya gave us six criteria. One is entire share capital is held by the government, financial assistance, monopoly status, deep and persuasive state control, function of the corporation, and a debt or department of the government is transferred to a corporation. If any of these are there, then it is said to be a state instrument or agency of the state. I hope you understood what Article 12 is and how it is understood in various judicial interpretation. Thank you so much.